science fiction and fantasy enthusiasts, and welcome to our podcast. With Ryan Sean O'Reilly, David Wilkinson, and Richard Mell. You're listening to No Deodorant in Outer Space. Now, let's get started.
They want to be the agents, not the victims, of history. They identify with God's power and believe they are godlike. That is their basic madness. They are overcome by some archetype. Their egos have expanded psychotically so that they cannot tell where they begin and the Godhead leaves off. It is not hubris, not pride. It is inflation of the ego to its ultimate confusion between him who worships and that which is worshipped. Man has not eaten God. God has eaten man. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and welcome to another edition of No Deodorant Outer Space. My name is Ryan Sean O'Reilly, and joining me once more is David Wilkinson.
What?
And also Richard Mell.
Yeah, hello.
This is the second half of our episode on The Man in the High Castle. On this episode, we're going to be covering the Amazon series, season 1 only, that was created by Frank Spotnitz and starred Alexa Davalos, I believe. This series came out in 2015, and actually the second season is coming out in 2016 now in December. So if you're listening to this when it goes live, then next month you can watch season 2. So any updates since our last episode? I think, Dave, you were going to give us an update about some story you have about dishes.
Oh, yeah. I talked to Laura, who was on our last podcast, and she said I cannot get rid of all our dishes. And the reason that's relevant is that twice before in my life I've gotten rid of my dishes, and then people keep giving me more dishes. I have to keep washing them, and I don't think anyone needs more than 1 or 2 dishes. Pans, different story. We all need a pan, but I feel like dishes are completely necessary. We have tables, we have utensils. All I do is create a mess. And I remember at one point, after I got rid of my dishes the first time, I lived with myself, my mom and sister, for whatever reason, came over, and they're like, this is no way to live. Like, your place is a mess, it's filthy, there's fruit flies, there's all kinds of crap here. There's like, you're like, how...
You gotta stay on top of it, Will. What the fuck?
They're like, how are you gonna land a woman with this dirty, messy apartment? And then so...
You landed one.
Yeah, but they're all... It was kind of endearing, because they're being so, I don't know, like, nurturing, like, you know... I did my mom and stuff to my little sister, like, you know what we're going to do? We're going to go to Target. We're going to get some really cute things. We're going to make this apartment so nice. And we're just going to clean it up, and we're going to scrub all the filth away. It's going to be so beautiful.
Apartment? You live in a mansion, Wilk.
I live in a mansion now.
This is the past. This is the past.
This is my
pre-mansion, Wilk.
This is, oh God. Were you in the apartment when Beam flooded the place and the police came, Ryan, or was that a different weekend?
I'm not sure if I was there, but I think I've been to that apartment.
It involved Harry Potter and alcohol and flooding. It's a great story, but that's for another time. So anyway, I cut back and like they had like did all this like home hunters bullshit where it's like I had a tablecloth all of a sudden and it smelled.
And you would not stand for that.
No, I don't like napkins or tablecloth. I don't like cloth in general. I don't like cloth. I don't like fabrics.
I can vouch for your story in the sense that I did live with you senior year of college. We went to college together, and we lived in a house with some other individuals. And at some point, I had a set of dishes that was given to me by a relative, and it occurred to me and another roommate, Dave Allen, that no one was doing dishes, and we had a cockroach problem.
Jesus.
So one of the solutions we came up with, besides telling our landlord to do something about the cockroaches, was to get rid of all the dishes and all the silverware so that there was just one set for, was it 6 of us?
Yeah.
One set of dishes and one set of silverware for 6 individuals. And suddenly things got cleaned.
Right, because you had to clean. There's only a dish. it's like the free...
I have a few suggestions to improve your livelihoods. Take shifts, when you're up for it.
Or marry up.
Marry up, sure. But, depending on your wife, she may be just as, phobic about dishes as you. But plastic, too. Try and buy, a fine finished plastic type of plate. And it's lighter so that you spend more calories doing dishes. You can kind of whip right through it. You know what I mean?
I do not. But a fine story it was.
It wasn't a story. It was some advice.
Yes.
Huh?
So let's go.
Well, I know. I came back and they actually they bought dishes for me. I'm like, what? And the question came is like, how long do I have to wait before I throw these dishes away? And I'm like, my sister lives in South Carolina. She's never going to come to this apartment again. My mom's been here once in 2 years. And so I literally waited for the car to leave. I just took those brand new dishes and I threw them in the dumpster.
Not even 5 minutes. Not even 5 minutes.
Well, I mean, I don't know when they bought them, but they were in my cupboards for less than half an hour before they were.
Yeah.
I mean, in retrospect, I should have maybe gotten them dirty, then thrown them away, but you just
paper plate it.
I do paper plate it.
There you go.
Oh, actually,
Ooh, yeah.
I didn't paper plate it. I usually just cook food and put it in my hands and eat it while it's hot.
Fucking paper towel shit.
Eat it while it's hot? You just like take hot food in your hands and eat it? It's like forever hot potato at your house.
Have you ever cooked a steak in a frying pan while naked in your kitchen and eaten it and let the juices drip onto your body? Have you?
Okay, on that note, why don't we go around the horn and give our opening comments about the TV series we're going to cover, The Man in the High Castle. We'll just give our one-sentence summaries as we try to banish that thought from our realities. I'm going to go
I'm still trying to get Wilk's naked body out of my head. I'm sorry.
I don't know my body, but your body. Have you guys ever done that?
Okay, Rick, let's go to you.
Happened.
Rick, what your opening comment just about your one-sentence summary about the TV series, the Amazon series?
Well, for me, it was even more convoluted than the book. So I struggled with it. I fell asleep dozens of times. I had to kind of juggle that with my new job and lots of stuff going on. And I had very little patience for it, especially when some of the scenes just kind of dragged on. It seemed like they liked to, well, we'll get into this.
Okay.
But kind of a big waste of time for me.
Ooh, Wilk. Let's see what you got. Just a one sentence kind of.
A one sentence comment?
Yeah, preferably less meandering than the last one.
Oh, I actually put it out in the Google document, so I'm going to read my comment.
Oh, I don't see it here. Go ahead.
I added it
okay.
Today.
With your radio voice.
Please
a horrifying reality where Indiana Jones is probably a dick.
Okay. For mine, I'm going to just say, Faithful Liberties make this series another perfect adaptation in the Philip K. Dick canon.
God.
All right. Those are our opening comments. We got the dishes update. Let's move on to this is, I guess, we're covering a series creator / showrunner, I guess you might call him. The director, it's not really the director because I think there's probably multiple directors for the show. It was 10 episodes. I think they're all about an hour long. Again, they're only available on Amazon, through their Amazon Prime program. You can't just I think rent them just from Amazon, or you can't, I don't think you get DVDs of them. Either.
I was able to, stream them, free from Amazon Prime, which I am a subscriber of.
Yeah, I think that's the only way.
Well, there's actually a promo. If you go on Twitter and you make a vine of yourself sitting on the TV going, "It's prime time," they'll send you a free episode.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, so we're going to talk about Frank Spotnitz. Wilk, give us a little background on him, and then maybe about the show and how it came to be.
Frank Spotnitz is a career entertainer, Hollywood type who works behind the scenes as a writer, producer, and a director, and his strength seems to be in writing and producing. He worked on a show that I loved when it was on called The X-Files.
Yeah, you were a big fan of that show, right?
I was. I love that show. I had books about that show, and I would watch it religiously. And the problem with that show towards the end is the creator, Chris Carter, got a little bit greedy because Fox threw some money at him, and he strayed from the ongoing plot lines he had developed to make the show go a few extra seasons. But that wasn't Frank's fault. And Frank wrote some of the better episodes, some of the standalones, and he worked on both the movies, including the most recent one, X-Files I Want to Believe, which was a true standalone episode, which was actually a pretty good horror sci-fi movie in its own right. So I like his work.
Huh.
And he worked on that show for 8 seasons, I believe, 8 out of the 9.
Yeah, I remember, or I heard a podcast interview where he was, I think, not a lot of writers did last that long on that show.
Well, he was a producer, too. I mean, he really helped develop the show. He had a close relationship. He was basically the number 2 on the show.
With Carter, right? He had a
Chris
relationship.
Chris Carter was the creator, head writer. He was the showrunner. And I feel like showrunner is a term that's come up. Actually, I feel like Vince Gilligan from Breaking Bad was the first time I really used the word showrunner. Maybe with Sopranos too, but then he worked with Vince Gilligan on X-Files a little bit as well. But that's neither here nor there.
You know how he got that job? I'm sorry to interrupt you again, but he was in a book club with Carter, and I think the book club was done, and he knew that Carter had the X-Files going on, and one of One of Spotnitz's friends from high school, who was a writer, contacted him and said, "Hey, you know the X-Files guy? Can you get me like an interview with him?" And he was like, "Oh, I haven't talked to the guy in a while, but all right." So he calls up Carter and says, "Hey, I got a friend from high school who wants to pitch to you some like spec scripts." And Carter says, I don't care. I don't want to see him. But if you have any ideas, I'll meet with you. And that's how he got into that show.
Okay, that's pretty cool. So you went from book club, huh?
Yeah.
All right. So what kind of book club are grown men in Hollywood? Odd.
Yeah, I don't know.
Was it a sex club?
It was a book club.
How do you know?
That's what he said in the interview.
But people who don't join book clubs to read books, they join book clubs to drink and hang out with their friends.
This is kind of a book club.
And it's for women. No, this is not a book club. This is a podcast. Big difference.
It's not? It really is kind of a book club, though.
Fine. It's a book club.
Let's get away from that.
I'm saying most book clubs are women drinking wine and not talking about books.
We're drinking wine tonight.
I know. You're right. This is a book club. God damn it.
First time.
And I'm enjoying the wine.
I am too. Wine is number 2 on my drug rating list, as we discussed in this episode. But I think this is going to be more than a 2 episode. Rick, we got to score some harder drugs in these future episodes.
Yeah, lost all my contact.
I'm sorry, I interrupted you. Well, please continue.
I was saying we got to score some harder drugs in these future episodes.
Anyways, Frank Spotnitz was in a book club. We're moving on from that point.
We're in a book club too. Go on.
No, you were saying he had a nice career with the X-Files, and then how did he make his way to this?
Well, his career with the X-Files is really enough to last the rest of his life. So he doesn't really need to do anything else. He's established. He made a lot of money doing that, and he can pretty much do what he wants right now. He's in a good position where he's not just a working person in Hollywood. He made a couple $1 million in X-Files, and he can kind of pick his projects. So I'm not sure exactly if he was in a book club with Ridley Scott, but Ridley Scott, the director who we discussed on a few other shows, he acquired the rights to make Man in the High Castle, and somehow he and Frank came into contact, and Frank was the guy who's going to bring this vision to life. And Frank had apparently read the book in college or on a bus or whatever, and so he was excited to do the project. And
Ridley Scott, I'm sorry, but he's a big Philip K. Dick fan from the past. He, of course, made Blade Runner, which we covered previously.
He does love Dick. And what's interesting, though, is that it kind of goes into his anti-authoritarian and almost a conspiracy nature. He was the showrunner for the briefly greenlit series, The Lone Gunman, on Fox, which is a spinoff of the X-Files. So 3 people who...
Spotnitz was,
yeah. And The Lone Gunman, famously, their first episode depicted the events of 9/11 3 years before it happened with a plane that was headed into the World Trade Center. It was a pretty good show in its own right, but it kind of had that same anti-authoritarian, anti-government attitude that this show has. And really, what really strikes me about this show and the X-Files, some of his work, is and I guess, I don't know if he's to credit for this, is the striking imagery that's almost visceral, which X-Files was known for that, where, they would do a great contrast of creative ideas and like really stark images that would be thrust at you, so you'd kind of feel the story itself. And I feel like when I watch this on the screen, there's something chilling about swastikas and Nazi uniforms on American soil that really kind of, I really dug the visual medium of this TV series.
Did you read? I saw on Wikipedia that they got some flack for advertising the series by, I think it was like a public subway or bus.
You know what? What a double-edged sword, because you got to advertise, and it's a powerful image, but you just can't. It's hard to throw swastikas on something, and that's why I brought the Indiana Jones thing. Some of my earliest media memories are Indiana Jones saying things like "Nazis, I hate these guys," and fighting the Nazis, and you don't feel bad when Nazis die. In fact, it's kind of fun, But here, see them in Wolfenstein, great example. Yeah, that was a great game. You don't feel bad about killing pixels that have Nazi swastikas on them. So here, to see them in power, and really that power not going anywhere, and being an unrelenting way of life, is an actual nightmare. I can totally see why. And I think what they did is they painted a subway car in swastikas, and I can see in New York City.
Wasn't it the American flag with the
swastika in it?
The Deutsche Eagle carrying the swastika in its talons or something?
To me, it's like if you made a science fiction movie about the World Trade Center, and you advertise in New York City by putting collapsing towers and trains or things. It's a bit too much. I mean,
the subway said, they are under strict guidelines on what they can accept for advertising because they're a government.
It was completely within the bounds of their guidelines.
Yeah, because they're like, it's not promoting Nazism, it's promoting a TV show. But they got enough pressure that eventually, I guess, the governor put pressure on them to remove
Andrew Cuomo.
Yeah, to remove the ad.
People don't like seeing swastikas. Really, it's just
yes.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to see actually, I do. There's really nothing I don't want to see. I can't say that.
Oh Jesus, swastikas are everywhere. Come on, man.
You know what's crazy? If you ever fly into Detroit, there's a hotel that's shipping a swastika that on purpose, right near the airport. It's pretty amazing. So look for that when you come in. I'll show you in Google Maps sometimes, but just look for Guru Swastika Hotel Detroit. But yeah, they are everywhere.
Really? Oh, that's weird.
I want to go out on a limb here. I know it's kind of controversial, but I don't like the Nazis. I don't support what they did. So that's my position.
I second that motion. All right, well, anything else you want to talk about with Spotnitz, or, like you said, Ridley Scott was kind of behind this. We also know that Philip K. Dick's daughter had a piece in this. She was one of the producers on this.
No, I mean, really, we're talking about what brought this to light. And again, you have two talented people, two established people here. No one's up and coming. Frank Spotnitz, Ridley Scott are the ones that kind of brought this together. And, as producer and as director, I would say. I mean, not the action director of the episodes. But, I mean, we have a very talented person here, a very accomplished person who took on this first season, a very ambitious project. And you're looking at 10 solid hours of TV. And they're not a lot. There's really no filler. I don't give away my star rating here, but you can tell I liked it. And it's worth checking out. It's hard to digest initially, but I'd watch 2 or 3 episodes, and I think you could jump right into it. I mean, it's pretty compelling television.
You also noted to me that Spotnitz is not part of it. Well, he's not going to be the showrunner again.
Yeah, I thought he was out
for season 2.
He's not going to be the showrunner, but he's going to be an executive producer, which means he's still part of it, but they're doing a lot of spot location stuff. And I read some blogs about this, and people were saying that he just didn't want to travel as much to different locations.
Yeah, he moved to where does he live, in France?
Does he? I don't know. Well, that makes more sense now. Yeah,
he moved out of the country, or maybe he moved to the UK. I can't remember. I'm sorry. But he moved out of the country and has a career going on outside the country. But it's so different over there that's why he created his own production company. Right. Because it's a different market over there.
Again, if you're in his shoes, right, I mean, he's not super wealthy, but he's very wealthy. I mean, he's probably worth $5 to $10 million. He doesn't have to work. He's living in France. I can totally get, maybe I don't want to spend my days on a lot in California if I can live in France and do my own thing. So no harm, no foul. His career, he's established. So that kind of makes sense, I guess.
I think he studied abroad there in school or something like that, and he wanted to eventually move back.
I studied abroad in Indiana, if you know what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
Oh, Nazis.
I don't know. Anything else you want to add? Like I mentioned, Philip K. Dick's daughter executive produced this, and I know Spotnitz talked about consulting with her, and she kind of gave her blessing to this project, and I think she wanted this, or there was a quote saying that she wanted this to be the Blade Runner of television. All right, so I think we're good on our bio portion here. So why don't we move the show along and get into the actual TV series? Rick, I know you had trouble with the show, and I think you didn't complete watching the entire series, right? You were kind of bogged down by it. You had a lot going on with your life. We discussed you had a new job and everything. But
once we get the kids to bed at around 9 o'clock, and I got to get up the next morning at 5:30.
Plus you got to brush your teeth. We know how long that takes. So why don't you just give us a bird's eye view of just what are some major differences between the film or the TV series and the book? Now, I know that Spotnitz wanted it to be pretty faithful, but when you're making a 10-hour adaptation of a book that's not not a long book, it can't be completely faithful.
Well, that surprises me if he wanted to be completely faithful, because there were a number of huge game-changing differences.
Like what?
There was a lot of emphasis on Juliana. She was pretty much in at least half of the movie, and there was much of the drama in the series revolved around her and the emotions she was going through.
She's like the main character almost. I mean, who else would be,
Well, Tagomi, man. I mean, there's a whole, a couple of chapters dedicated to his whole mind trip.
But I mean, for the TV series, I guess he's still a big character in the TV series.
Yeah.
But I would have guessed Frank Fink because he's a man and not Juliana because she's a woman, but they really switched stuff.
But you're just talking from your sexist perspective that you kind of default to.
That was a joke. Lighten up, Francis. I'm saying they're doing the new convention now, which is to make the woman the hero, which is actually pretty cool. But her, I don't know. I mean, I feel like in the book she wasn't the central character, but it does, from a story perspective, make perfect sense. And I think they do a great job in the TV series.
Now,
it's interesting. That's the most interesting plot.
You say that now, but in the book, I have the statistics here from the Schmoop website. Frank had like 7 chapters or points of view. Tagomi had 7, Childen had 6, and Juliana had 6. And then Baines was 5, and then 2 other people had a lot less. Well, so she had a pretty good amount of point of view. She did, but central character.
Good research.
I felt Tagomi was the main character.
Really?
I really did. I did. I think it was all about him, and I thought he was the most interesting character in the story. I love
Tagomi, man.
Yeah, and I think his thing at the end makes me think that he was a central character in the story with his vision. He had the most effect.
He seemed like he was just like wallpaper in the series. Background, providing the Japanese cultural perspective.
I found him compelling in both the book. Yeah. Well, and the TV series, the actor really did a good job with him. But I will note that I saw a review on Goodreads from someone saying they gave a really bad review of the book, and they said it seemed like Philip K. Dick had never met a woman before in his life.
That's probably pretty accurate.
I mean, but he was married like 5 times, so.
Yeah, but he's he is actually kind of a sexist, misogynist asshole based on his life. Mm-hmm. And really, Juliana was paper thin in the book. All she basically did was do judo and bang some truck drivers and kill him. I don't think she was that compelling of a character. Yeah. She was only a woman because they needed someone the Nazi guy to bang. I mean, the TV series does a much better job of making her a real person, a more interesting person, a more compelling character. But I don't think she's the main character in the book, although she's associated with the most interesting story. I think Tagomi was. And again, I don't say Tagomi's paper thin here. I like Tagomi as well in both productions. I like the actor that played him. I like the character.
The actor wasn't bad.
I think those are all valid points, but I just want to say, however many issues you have with his portrayal of women, he does end the book with her, and she does take agency in taking out the Nazi assassin. Maybe ultimately she's not as developed as some of the other male characters, but I think she has something to her.
But just because they end it with her, I mean, every porno film ends with a woman too. Just because you end the story and the woman doesn't mean you're putting a woman in a positive state. You know, she's not really that fleshed out in the book. I mean, again, the book isn't that fleshed out. It's not. That was our last episode. Anyways, but yeah, here she is the main character, and I think she's well written, well developed. It's a much. Yes. I mean, and I don't think they're trying to make this a faithful rendition of the book. In fact, I know they're not, and that's fine.
Ryan just
they're
said
taking the world.
That the guy was, he was bent on making it as faithful.
Well, I think.
Oh, Ryan's wrong.
Yeah,
no, I think
so, because Ryan's not correct. It's not faithful at all.
That's not,
he loves the book,
but he said in interviews that he's not.
He kept
doing that
true
at all.
to the spirit of the book. I think that's what he was going for.
Yeah,
I would have appreciated if he actually did a carbon copy of the book. That would be cool. But we got
he couldn't do that over 10 episodes.
Some more lessons on the vileness of anti-Semitism, which we pretty much get it all the time. I mean, it's part of the American culture. We have to kind of revisit the Holocaust a couple times a year. There's a new documentary or several documentaries on the Holocaust all the time. So this really kind of emphasizes that, and on top of that, it emphasizes torture. There's so much more torture in the series than there ever was in the book. When Frink was put away in the book, there was really nothing about it. He came out like days later. He was okay. There was a prolonged scene where Frink is, tortured and belittled, and, you kind of go through those emotions with him in the series, which is complete fucking drag. All right. I don't like watching torture. It doesn't sell for me. Some people, they probably have a penchant for that. I can see torture that, porn. Especially in this country.
But I think they were trying to add more action to a book that otherwise didn't have a lot of action, and so that was part of it.
Well, let me back up and just
torture is not action. There. Okay.
Yeah. Again, this was not.
I understand your point.
Torture is not entertaining.
Yeah, okay, but the book could have been a 2.5-hour movie solidly. You could have got the whole book into a movie. This is a TV series based on the world that Philip K. Dick imagined. But
originally, they wanted to make it a 4-part show for the BBC, right? They didn't want to make it this long originally.
Definitely a miniseries. Yeah, this is a 10-hour first season, and there's going to be many. And again, Philip K. Dick's book was a starting point for a world. It didn't have a definite ending. It didn't resolve anything. It was essentially a slice of life Philip K. Dick style, which is great, fine. This is going to be a TV series. It's going to go on for a while, but they changed the whole concept of slavery. They got rid of the whole concept of there being a book about things and made it a movie about things. He took some of the most fundamental concepts of the book and made it more palpable for a TV series. And that's fine. That's fine. I mean, I truthfully, I really enjoy the world that I like watching it on TV. I think it's better written than the Philip K. Dick book. I think Philip K. Dick, he was
really better written.
Wilk, let me ask you.
Yeah.
You talked about the Grasshopper Lives Heavy.
I'll explain.
The Grasshopper Lives Heavy becomes a film instead of a book, and as a book in the book, it is widely distributed. As a film in the series, the film it's more of like a MacGuffin. It's more like this secret holy grail that we have to find and bring somewhere. And it's becomes like a hero's quest kind of project. Juliana, her sister, is part of the resistance movement, and it's become more personal to Juliana, as I think Spotnitz mentioned in one of his interviews. And they have to go find these films and bring them back. And that is different, and then that makes it's less speculative, right? What are these films showing? Are they showing an alternate reality? It's not a book speculating on an alternate reality or not. It's showing something. How does that change it? What I mean, in your opinion,
how do you answer that?
Well, by changing the Grasshopper Lies Heavy from a book to a film.
Well, I mean, films are more accessible than books, and the film was pretty basic. It was just showing what I think was the reality of the Nazi Germany coming down at the end of World War II, and that is definitely kind of like a game changer.
Does the existence of a film prove that there's an alternate reality?
I would think so.
So unlike the book of the version of it, you're saying doesn't prove there's an alternate reality.
No, it's less explicit with that.
Yeah.
The book is speculative. The film is, I think the series put the film off like it was an actual event that was kind of deleted from history.
Yeah.
And now has sort of resurfaced in this underground railroad back to the High Castle, where it will be processed and distributed for the next revolution.
Well, maybe you didn't see this, but at the end of the series, Hitler has all these films.
Oh, he does. So that's the twist.
And he's using these films to almost like, I think Will, what did you think? Is Hitler using these films to predict the future and stay in power? Is that what they're alluding to?
I thought it was more or less like his version of the I Ching, yeah.
Oh, that's a good point.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, and Hitler didn't have syphilis in the movie. He had Parkinson's too, and which doesn't really. I mean,
less salacious.
I love when they do shit like that. Like, why?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know.
Well, I'm saying, but the syphilis is had a much more connotation of affecting his brain too, and things like that. Whereas Parkinson's had more to affect his physicality, but he had his mind intact. I thought so. That was really.
Is Parkinson's more genetic based too?
I don't know.
Not sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so I fell asleep several times during the viewing of this. And I mean, there's a scene where Juliana goes back to San Francisco. She gets a job, and I mean, this series is filled with stuff like this. She comes in with her papers to her new employer. All right. She gives the papers to the employer. There's not a word said. Okay. The Japanese employer sits at his desk and reviews the papers. It takes easily 45 seconds for him to go through the papers. This is all real time, in the film. And it was just stuff like that just completely pissed me off. I mean, why did they do that? Why did they spend so much time on nothing? There was no content in about 80% of this series.
But that speaks to Philip K. Dick's themes of authenticity and what's real and what's not real.
I disagree. I think, Rick, honestly, I think they were doing that because I think if it captured you, it was to kind of create tension.
It didn't capture me. I drifted off.
Right. If it doesn't capture you, then it's just fucking boring. I think it can go both ways. But if you're like, it's like, I mean, if you're on the edge of your seat, you're thinking, oh my God, he's onto her. One of my colleagues recently talked about the Blair Witch Project and how he watched it. He wanted his mom and dad to watch it with him. He was like in his 20s when it came out. And he's like, you gotta watch this movie. It's amazing. And when they were watching it with him, they were getting up, getting popcorn. They weren't paying attention. And the whole thing was like, what the fuck was that? That was stupid. He's like, well, you weren't really watching it. You weren't into it. And I think if you're not into the series,
that plays the suspense of it. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And again, I found myself in the exact same position at different times. Where it's kind of half. That's what I was saying. You have to. It demands your full fucking attention when you watch the show. It's hard to casually watch, and it's 10 goddamn hours. It was. I mean, I got through it in about 3.5 weeks. I think when it's all said and done. I mean, that to me, or 2.5 weeks. I mean, if your time frame was like a week to watch this, I don't think I could watch this in a week.
Yeah, that was my situation.
There was some subplots like the whole bounty hunter subplot,
completely different.
Or Rick, you probably saw it. That was like a self-contained story that I think could have been thrown out.
It could have.
I don't know how that added to the greater story. It was just kind of like now we got to deal with this, and
goes to my point.
Now it's wrapped up.
I mean, you have these hate-filled people, such as the Marshal in the series, that you wouldn't believe that it actually existed. And I don't even know if people like that do exist. But I mean, this is just to emphasize the vileness of
there are hateful people in the world.
But how can this guy go around town bullying everybody with his stupid shotgun and not get shot, right there and then? How is that possible? It's just...
Well, they do kind of set up that it's a pretty repressed society. I mean, even when they're not out there and they're back home, they're feeling pretty fearful. I did see that. That kind of echoes. But ultimately, the Marshall thing, I don't know that it contributed that much to the greater plot.
Not at all.
It could have been excised from the series and it wouldn't have mattered. It was interesting and fun, but that's about it. One of the things that Spotnitz said he wanted to focus the series on, and I guess in trying to stay true to the book, whether or not you agree or not that he did, is that there was 3 things he wanted to cover. And one of them was what is real, what is human, and what is freedom, and what would you sacrifice for freedom? Those were the things he wanted to keep going back to for the series. And I think what is real, that's Philip K. Dick. What is human, I think that's also probably Philip K. Dick. And I think what is human is, kind of part of the show explores that a lot especially with the Nazis. John Smith, the Obergruppenführer, he's an interesting character because he's trying to be Mr. Family Man, and yet he's a horrible, despicable Nazi at work. And he has to balance his wanting to have a normal, kind of great family life and be a great family man, and yet do all these awful things at his job as a Nazi.
I did not see him as a great family man in this series. He was overly controlling. He micromanaged pretty much every member of his family to the extent of insanity. So I think he was pretty oppressive as a father and as a husband. I mean, Jesus.
Did you get to the point where it's revealed that his son has a congenital disease and needs to be executed?
No, I didn't see that. No.
Yeah, that was pretty compelling revelation. Wilk, what did you think about that? He goes to a doctor and finds out that in this society, if someone has a congenital disease, they have to be killed. And so he's told that his son has that, his son who he dotes on, and he doesn't do it. At least in this season, he doesn't kill his son.
Right.
And I think that's the first chink in his facade that he's built for himself to protect his own conscience from his actions that he's committing every day. Now he's dealing with the reality of the world that he's helped to create. Did you find that compelling, Wilk, or?
Not in the way you phrase it, no. No.
Did you find it compelling at all, or no?
I feel like someone else should ask that question in a way that doesn't make me want to punch you. There's no reality being created
Such
here.
Violence.
That's violence.
I think you're being a tad pretentious. Yes. I mean, the guy didn't want to kill his son. Is that shocking? No, that seems pretty normal.
Not at all.
But he's carrying the Nazi flag. He's supposed to be the banner guy for the Nazis.
Yeah, Ryan. Okay, calm down. He doesn't want to kill his son.
He's all about ideology.
Yeah, okay. But he doesn't want to kill his son, which seems perfectly normal no matter what your banner is.
Some of the highest-ranking Nazis saved their own friends from the concentration camps because they were, involved with the same fencing team, for example.
Of course. We can all understand that, but I'm just saying it's incongruous with how he's trying to hold himself out to the world that he's part of.
Your breathless innocence here is kind of annoying. I mean,
breathless innocence.
It's just
explain that statement.
It's a plot device. I'm sure they'll use it in the future if they need to. Yeah, he's leveraged because he doesn't want his son to die. I think any dad would do the same thing. I mean, it's a fairly old story.
Oh, okay. So you're feeling it's contrived. You're saying it's contrived. You felt it was contrived.
No. Well, It's all contrived because it's written. I'm just saying.
Oh, that's right. You know what? Fiction is contrived. We figured it out.
No, look.
The whole book club. This could be our last episode.
Look.
Okay, yeah, but it's not this lofty thing where it's like, well, it's duality versus reality. No, it's just like, yeah, that's a convention they're going to use in the story. Let's move on. I mean, it's just like it's a plot device. I mean, it's not like
we all have this perception that Nazis are not human. They're robotic. They follow their own policies more than holding everything near and dear to their hearts, safe and out of harm's way. But this is just another example. Kind of further, increasing the hatred, just making them hypocrites. All right, yeah.
Well,
he's a fucking
I think
hypocrite.
that
big deal.
What they're trying to do here is make it not so flat and not so, and to make better characters with more depth and make more complications in their lives and more like life. So you want to say it's a plot device? Everything is a plot device, but it's how does it feel? Does it feel contrived? And as a reader, do you feel cheated, or does it feel authentic to the story that they've been trying to create? I think that's the point.
It's certainly authentic because it would happen in real life, and it has happened in real life.
Right, but the way it's written, the way it's filmed, does it come across as authentic? That's the whole point. Okay.
No, is it really? It's like
Yeah.
he's gonna do one. I mean, he's either going to kill his son or he's not. I mean, and that'll tell us more about him when he decides what to do. He might kill him, he might not.
Well, and how they develop that is whether it's a good story or not.
Well, I guess. I mean, what are we talking about here? I guess I'm lost. I mean, like,
Nazis were not religious people, right? Who was it in the Bible?
Now I don't know what we're talking about.
Received orders from God to kill his son, and he was about to do it, right?
Yeah.
And he would have done it. He was in the motion of doing it, and he was stopped. Well, I mean, this is...
You're talking about Abraham, the story of Abraham?
Sure, and Abraham was seen in a positive light because he went through all of that stuff, and he was about to kill his son. Well, on the other hand, you got this Nazi, and the state is telling him to kill his son, and he didn't even make a motion to do it. I don't know if he did or not because I didn't see that part.
No, he doesn't. In the season 1, he doesn't.
Yeah,
he's given the tools. He's given a syringe with the poisons that will do it painlessly, and in the whole season concludes he doesn't do it.
Yeah, so
or even attempt to do it, as far as we can tell.
Godless people, man.
Yes, I guess they're more religious. They do the right thing and kill their son like Abraham.
Right.
The I Ching plays a bigger role in the book than it does in the series. I felt like Tagomi still consults the I Ching.
Because the I Ching's fucking stupid.
Why?
And the TV series is not. I mean, you can't have a TV series based on the I Ching. That'd be really fucking annoying, in my opinion.
In the book, I saw one reviewer commenting that it's almost like the I Ching is like the equivalent of the Bible, and you have multiple characters consulting it. Whereas in the TV series, I think it's just Tagomi who's consulting it.
Yeah, that makes it a little bit easier.
Yeah.
Are we just going to sit here and listen to you exclaim things excitedly about that you watched the TV show? Because I feel like it's where the TV series has happened. I mean, I don't know. It's like, you've watched TV before, right? This isn't your first TV show.
Oh, Mr. Condescending, what would you like to contribute?
Oh, no, I don't know. I just feel like you're like, let's not look too deep into things that aren't that deep.
Well, this is a book club. I think that's what it's all about.
It's not a book. It's actually a TV show.
We're discussing the merits of the art. I mean, okay, what would you like to talk about? Go ahead. I could see the flow.
No, I just want to debate like a fictional character's whether or not he's going to kill his fictional son, as if that's the premise of the show. It's just like a whatever. I mean, like I don't know. I mean, like we're getting off track here.
I think the series was just overproduced. There were so many scenes where they just kind of dragged on, and there was absolutely no content or ideas being conveyed. It was just scenery and costumes, and oh man, look at those Nazi costumes. Aren't they fucking beautiful? There's so many people that have a penchant for the fucking Nazi, uniform. It's unbelievable. And this series was full of them. But there was, there
were striking visuals. I agree with that.
I didn't find the dialogue compelling at all. And, albeit I saw this in a very compressed amount of time, and I didn't have any fucking patience for it. But okay, go ahead.
Well, go ahead. Go ahead.
I mean, Rick, what surprised me was I kept reading about how it was too expensive to put on other networks. I'm watching this, I'm like, it doesn't look that expensive. Where did the money go? I mean, it looks like a TV series produced on a studio lot, and I guess they had a lot of locations, but it didn't seem like there was a lot of money going into anything other than costume design.
Did it feel cheap to you? Is that what you're saying? Did it feel cheap to you?
No, it didn't feel cheap, but it didn't strike me as something that was over the top expensive. And I know that was a problem they claimed they had in pitching their networks. So I almost wondered if the reason they get put on other networks is because they want to deal with the Nazi thing and the fact that, okay, like Rick said, I think Rick's a good gauge. I mean, this is not, it's hard to get into. It really is. I mean, I like the TV series a lot, but it's, again, I can see it not flying with a lot of people and a lot of people being put off by it entirely.
But the critics loved this. It was rated high on Metacritic. It was rated very high on Rotten Tomatoes. It's a well-received series.
I don't get it.
I mean,
I
universally. You might not agree with that, but it was.
Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter. What I'm saying is, there's plenty of well-received series that don't make it on television. In fact, that's not the exception. That's usually what happens. I mean, critically acclaimed shows usually do worse than Charlie Sheen shows.
But this one is picked up for a second season, so it had success, whether not just from the critics.
Okay, I'm gonna pull the sidebar again. Hey, Rick.
Yes.
This is not, ratings don't matter here. This is being produced by Amazon, as you and I both know. It's
they don't care about ratings.
But this was Amazon's, now maybe it's not a lot of competition, but this is Amazon's highest rated show.
I feel like Ryan's looking into some jeweled necklace and lost his mind. Okay, sidebar over.
It's Amazon's highest rated. It's Amazon's highest rated show.
It got renewed for a second season that a network doesn't care about ratings. Go on.
But Amazon also said it's their highest rated show. Now it's the Amazon network. Take that for what it's worth. But
yeah, but Amazon's also renowned for not actually giving real numbers. That's like their whole thing. They're like, we're killing it in business. What are you guys doing? We can't tell you. So whatever their highest rated show means, is it making money for them? They don't know. I mean, I think it's a passion.
It's real for Amazon.
Okay, but my point being is that I don't think it costs that much money to make. I think the reason they get picked up by other networks because they didn't want to deal with the controversy or maybe the lack of appeal that it had, and whether it has high ratings or not, it's only available to Amazon Prime customers. It's not being put out to the public. Maybe so. I don't know. I mean, I think Rick makes a valid point in saying that he's not that into it. I think a lot of people could not be that into it. I mean, what are some reasons people should watch the series in your opinion? What makes it worth watching, or versus this, or
Nazi fetish?
I don't know.
Nazi fetish.
NDIOS.
One of the things I liked was I had a note here about loyalty to the state versus loyalty to peace. Maybe that's not the best way to express it, but there's some interesting characters like
not from a marketing standpoint. No,
the inspector for the Kempetai, who is a vile character.
Did you hear my question? My question is like, what would make this appealing to other people?
Yes. So I'm just telling you what made it appealing to me.
Okay, so you're saying espionage, intrigue, stuff like that, right?
Well, not the espionage, but the conflict, the inter-character conflict with these seemingly evil characters. This inspector for the Kempetai, he has to question his own loyalty, which he's very rigid, very rules-based for these corrupt societies. The Japanese culture of this book.
They weren't corrupt. How are they corrupt?
Well,
why is that appealing to you? Like, what makes that appealing?
Well, because he's struggling with Tagomi. Makes him he finds a common ground with Tagomi, who is just seeking peace, and he ultimately makes a decision in the series to cover up an assassination attempt for the sake of peace, which is not, it goes against his grain as a character, which was to follow the rules and just do that. And that made him an interesting and compelling character. And I think things like that make it a great show.
Okay, so here's how I answer that question, because I feel like you just told me something happened, and then all that did happen. But like, what made it appealing to me and to other viewers out there is that it really kind of furthers the imagination of Philip K. Dick, and it does this world building where you're looking at a world where anything can happen, as if the Nazis in Japan had taken it over, and in that world, all these different scenarios can play out, and you don't get that in a lot of TV shows where they actually create a complete alternate reality, which is what this show is doing, and that makes it fun to watch. That I can just sit back and say, oh, this is a whole different thing, and so everything in it kind of appears new and fresh to me. That to me is the appeal, but I guess I don't like watching The Walking Dead because I hate the world that they live in. I think it's too dark and too unrealistic. And I know a lot of people love The Walking Dead. I don't, because I think it's just a tad over the top in terms of I don't buy that life would be that harsh. So I mean, I guess that's the contrast I can see. Maybe people liking or not liking this, and the Nazi thing we really put off.
And my disclaimer is I really can't get into many movies. I mean, a lot of our movies I cannot get into. I cannot get into the damn Running Man right now. It's just like, and when I was a kid,
that's the whole reason why you became a part of the show, was the Running Man.
And this is the epitome of what I dislike. It's just a bunch of shit that.
But Wilk, do you think that the way they portrayed the characters make you care about these characters and as individuals? It's not just interesting because of the Nazis in Japan winning World War II. But beyond that aspect of it, which is just maybe intriguing on its own, but it holds up further because you care about the characters.
Yeah, it's a good TV show. Yes.
Well said.
But it's a good TV show. A good TV show makes you care about the characters, but I mean, I don't. Yeah, I mean,
Did you have any kind of emotional investment in the characters in this series?
Yes.
Not that much. No,
I didn't either. Ryan, what made you invested? Was it the beauty of Juliana?
Okay. I picture his head smoking.
No, I just think there's struggles. There's struggles in this world. I mean, even the character of John Smith, the the Nazi guy who's the main character, his personal struggles, and
he wasn't compelling.
I felt he was.
He had no range of emotion. Nothing was there. He was acting like he was basically in his position at all times. Even when he was with his family, he was still kind of executing.
Yes, but then you see the chinks in the armor when the son has the disease.
Subtle, and I didn't see it.
I got an idea. I got a quick idea. Let's play a little game for our viewers out here, just to kind of
no games. You said no games. You said no games.
Not a game. No games.
You said no game. Wilk, you said no games.
I'm going to tell you what my favorite TV series of all time is, and I'll tell you I like this shirt. My favorite TV series of all time was Breaking Bad. Drama. serial. Ryan, Rick, what are some of your favorite TV series so we can kind of gauge what you like so people can listen to this and say, well, maybe I should check it out?
I don't know.
I don't
I
dig
like the
deep.
series. I love Breaking Bad.
I don't dig deep. I have limited time in front of the television, so I tend to go.
Rick's answer is he doesn't like TV.
Hold on, Ryan.
Next question.
Look, man, I don't waste my time with television. I don't try to explore some unknown nugget, okay? Game of Thrones.
So your answer to the question of what's your...
It's extremely entertaining.
Your answer to the question of what's my...
it because it's damn good, all right? I don't
Your
waste
answer
my
to
time with
what's
shit
my
that's just
favorite TV
kind
show
of
is
obscure.
I don't like TV.
I like the
I'm
classics.
glad you're part of... I'm glad
I
you're
like
part of this
Caddyshack.
podcast.
Print is dead. Okay. Ryan, what kind of TV shit do you like? Now we're off the rails.
Oh my god, I can't even think right now. I'm 2/3 of a way through a bottle of wine from Spain.
Yeah.
I don't know. I love TV shows. I love this new medium that's out now with on-demand shows and these miniseries that are not going to go on for 300 seasons. I'm a little worried about this show and if it's going to get too diluted and convoluted with
Rick answered
multiple
the question,
seasons.
even though he said he hated TV. So, give me a TV series that you've liked so we can kind of, the people listening.
Well, of course,
gauge
I
where
mean,
we're
I've
coming
liked
from.
Breaking Bad. I mean, that was a great show, and watched Mad Men, and I like a lot of British comedies. I like a lot of TV.
I think so. Mad Men's pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay. And British comedies. All right, so there we go. We like Game of Thrones, British comedies,
Game of Thrones,
Mad Men, and Breaking Bad.
Yeah, I like Game of Thrones.
That is the gambit here. And
Any old Bill Murray movie will do it for
That's
me.
not TV.
I love old Bill
Rick,
Murray.
what's your favorite TV show? I like Nirvana.
That's not
Pearl
what he
Jam's
said.
good
He answered
too.
the question. You didn't really answer it the way the extraction.
Yeah, because you always like these lists, like you write for Rolling Stone or something like that. I hate that concept.
That wasn't a list. I'm just trying. I just felt like the way you're talking about this series, it's like you're not really telling people that are listening like why you like it. You're telling them what happened in it. I mean, it's fine.
Well, in the true spirit of Ryan, he's always trying to take this spirited, objective view on absolutely everything he says because he doesn't want to offend anybody.
You're right. 'Cause I can't tell if he actually likes it or not. It's like
I just told you I liked it. I told you what I liked about it.
But you're on the emotional scale, you're a normal person, and the way you explain that wasn't like how you would normally just say you like something. It's if you were just talking to me normally, you wouldn't say I like the contrast and this. And I'm like, okay, but why do you? What's good about it?
I just told you I like that conflict with those characters, especially the antagonistic characters.
Okay, I'm just fine.
I mean, which is kind of a Game of Thrones has got that going on a lot.
Well, the antagonistic character in Man of the High Castle in the series, what was so compelling about him? He was just a punk kid. He was a punk. All right, I know plenty of people like him.
Who are you talking about? I'm not sure who you're talking about.
The Nazi agent who I guess I don't know if he ever.
Oh, Joe Blake.
Sure,
Joe Blake.
Yeah. He was compelling to you.
Yeah,
Ryan?
they created like a love triangle. I didn't. That was not my favorite part.
He was not nearly as interesting as the Joe Citronella character in the book.
He's more developed in the character in the book, but that was not the attraction to the show to me. That like love triangle thing going.
But you just said you like the antagonist.
Yeah, but that particular aspect was not one of my more favorite parts.
You enjoyed the Fuhrer.
The Kempetai guy, the Nazi guy. Those were more compelling than the Joe Blake. The Joe Blake struggle was felt kind of more like regurgitated stuff I've seen before.
You know what's funny? I care less about what critics rate something or they say than knowing what critics like. And if they like the things that I like, it's so subjective. I mean, there's certain movie reviewers out there that, when Ebert was alive, I always read his reviews because I knew what he liked. I could kind of gauge his opinion if he, similar tastes, I guess. Just because a show gets good reviews doesn't mean I'm going to like it or people are going to like it. I mean, there's plenty of shows out there that I'm sure are horribly reviewed that I love and vice versa. So,
but I do think that this show has gotten good reviews from the critics and the fans. I don't think it's like
you don't have to think that. That's an objective statement. It's got good reviews.
Good reviews from fans for sure.
But it's not just critically acclaimed, is what I'm saying.
It's claimed. Okay.
Look, I mean, this is the maiden voyage of Amazon production. There were no previous fans until this thing came up. Anyone who is a fan of
the maiden voyage
series is going to.
I don't think it was the first.
Positively.
I don't think it was their.
Have positive thoughts about the series. If you're a fan, you like something.
I feel like it could be better. I mean, it's not terrible. It's not great. It's pretty good.
I'm worried about the future. I'm worried how they're going to end it. I don't want this thing to go on forever.
I'm not, because I'm probably not going to watch it, to be honest.
Well, there you go.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean, it was good, but like, the more
Are you going to continue watching it, Ryan?
I'm not feeling compelled to watch season 2.
But you just said all this shit compelled you.
yeah. And there we go.
And there you go.
But I mean, I don't like when shit goes on forever. I know it seemed like in his interview, Spotnitz had a plan to end it. Now he's pulled back, so I don't know where this is going to go. Interesting little anecdote. Philip K. Dick tried to write a sequel to this. He only got 2 chapters deep, and he said he couldn't bear to keep reading about
the Nazis,
the Nazi history.
Understood.
He was sick of it. He had a couple false attempts that turned into other novels, but he could never go back and finish this thing. The parts that do exist talk about their torture scenes where the Nazis are torturing people and saying who have been to this alternate reality, and they're asking them, how did you get there? What's going on with that?
Yeah, but look, this is what is always irritating to me. When media covers fascism, they're always doing Nazis, all right? What they should be doing is contemporary fascism, all right? And nobody touches that shit. Nobody.
Rick, I've got a show for you that blew my mind. It actually does that. It's called Mr. Robot. Just check it out.
Oh, really? Okay, that's TV, right? That's like a television series?
It's on USA, which I don't even have that cable network, but I watched it on Amazon actually, which the first season's free on Amazon. That's where I watched it. Probably the best TV series I've seen in years. It gets I'm not going to give it away, but everything you just said, it grabs corporate America by the ball. It's all about a guy trying to take down the world's largest corporation.
Okay.
And it's balls out. It's great TV. It's
Office Space, there you go, right?
It's kind of, there you go. Which was Mike Judge is an incredible subversive and prophetic voice, okay. I think. I like him.
Would you have liked him better as a director of the show?
Who?
Mike Judge.
Director of what show?
Of Man in the High Castle.
Man in the High Castle.
Yes.
I don't know. I mean,
why don't you know?
Show.
What if Gene Wilder was Frank Frank?
What if my dick was Frank Frank?
Then I would be emotionally invested.
Yeah, I would too. Yeah.
Okay, I think we're good. Let's wrap things up. Unless you guys unless you have some compelling thing you want to say, but I think we're good.
I think Laura's really annoyed that I'm still broadcasting at 1 o'clock in the morning. Her words are, "I'm going to bed. You've been doing this since 10." So,
and on that note, I'll just add that it was all worth it.
Hey, we got a good episode, I think. So
okay, so let's go around the horn and give our star ratings and final comments if we have any on the show. Let's start with you, Wilk. What's the star rating you're going to give the show, and any final comments you care to add?
I give it 3 stars. Technically, it's pretty good. I mean, it's not...
Technically.
I don't find the characters that compelling, but like I like the world that it builds. It's an interesting story. I think they're better off if it was half the length, though. I got to kind of side with Rick on that one.
Okay. Rick, what do you got?
2 stars. Probably 1.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
1 star.
Hey, you want to explain that at all, or no? Or you're good?
I feel like your reaction is enough of an explanation. I kind of agree with Rick too, just based on the noise you just made now. So, but I'm not going to change my.
Any final comments, Rick, or are you going to let it lie?
It's a fucking waste of time.
Okay, well said. I am going to give this series 4.5 stars.
Of course you are, but you don't want to watch the second season.
I know that's true. That's true. I don't want to watch the second season.
You're kind of full of shit, dude. I mean,
and you're throwing in a half fucking star. Come on, dude.
We went over this last episode or last.
But you just said you don't want to watch the second season. How are you going to have stars?
Right, but as it stands, here's the thing.
Why would anyone believe you, though? Oh my God, go on.
Believe me or not believe me, it's my opinion. So as it stands. Philip K. Dick is a great ideas writer, and a lot of cool stuff has come out on him. As a Philip K. Dick work, to adapt it, I think to make it great for TV or film, you need to take certain liberties. I think they took those liberties in this book, and they ultimately enhanced it in a way that did not stray too much from the true spirit of what he was about. And I think this really is a perfect adaptation of this book.
But
I'm not sure
that
it
have
could
to do with it being good, though, or not.
Because
it was a good adaptation.
I'm not sure that I'm not sure that I would see this be done differently. I liked it for what the reasons I said.
You don't like it enough to watch the second season.
Well, because they're going to go beyond.
And it almost gets a perfect rating for me.
They're going to go. They're going to go beyond. They're going to go beyond, and I'm not sure that that's going to be good. It remains to be seen what comes of it. I don't know, but I'm saying as
stars, wouldn't you want to see what comes of it?
I'm giving it 4.5 stars, and I might check it out, Wilk. I might. I'm just saying I'm not dying to check it out right now because and I got other things to do. But I may turn to it to see what comes of it. But I mean, to me, I'm giving it 4.5 stars based on the fact that I think it's a perfect Philip K. Dick adaptation of this work. That's why I'm giving it 4.5 stars.
Are you applying for a job to work with Philip K. Dick's foundation? I mean, I feel like it's the only explanation for your behavior in this podcast. What you're saying is not matching your conduct here. I mean, like, if you give it 4.5 stars and it's a TV series, like, yeah, I'm probably going to watch the second season, but I like the contrast of characters. I don't feel like, how do you give 4.5 stars?
I strongly recommend that anyone should see this series. I mean, I really do.
But not the second season.
No, I'm not saying don't watch the second season.
Happen.
Hey, the second season's not even out yet.
You are such a fucking control freak. My God, what is it like to be you?
What does it have to do with control?
He doesn't know what's going to happen, so I can't rate it.
You just hate it.
I can't rate it.
Wilk, you just can't stand it when I challenge your power structure. It's such a fucking house of cards.
I don't have a power structure. I'm
sitting
here
in
in my kitchen at 1:30 in the morning. I didn't say, if you're going to say 4.5 stars, that would imply to me that you really, really like it a lot. Not that, like, yeah, I'm not going to watch it next season.
You can't handle it. Hey, I know you can't handle it. That's all right. You'll be okay. Don't worry.
It's driving us nuts, Ryan. Yeah. You know it.
Oh, you're a tool. All right. So are we done here?
All right. So I'll invite anyone to check out our website, www.nodeodorant.com. We'll have show notes from the show. We'll have links to fun factoids, and we'll have some of our reviews.
My show's giving low reviews. I gotta get it up. Phil K. Dick's get mad at me. I gotta average it out.
Don't you want to go to our website and see what further antics and comments these two bozos have to say? Follow us on Twitter. Check us out on Facebook. We're on various podcast mediums.
Let's see. Rick gave it 1 star. Oh, no.
YouTube, TuneIn Radio, as Will mentioned last time. iHeartMedia. We're on Google Play. And we appreciate if anyone gives reviews for our show. Also, if you're curious to see what other works we've covered, you can go to our website and we have an archive index that lists all the subject matter, all the books, the stories, the TV shows, the films. Please go and check us out there. And on that note, I am going to invite everyone to check us out next month when we cover our next work, which is going to be about the Golden Compass, which is also known as the Northern Lights and part of His Dark Materials. Came out in 1995, written by Philip Pullman.
This was my pick because it had Christian themes in it.
So we can mock Christianity?
Yep.
Okay, then back into
The film was called The Golden Compass, came out in 2007, was directed by Chris Weitz, I think I'm pronouncing that wrong, and starred Nicole Kidman, among others. Nice. So we'll invite you to join us again next month when we cover that work. And until then, good night.
Good night, y'all.
Good night, everyone. Goodbye.
For more information on the topics discussed in this episode, or to read our show notes and find us on social media, visit nodeodorant.com. For more information on Ryan Sean O'Reilly and his various works of fiction, visit ryanseanoreilly.com. For more information on David Wilkinson, visit drycracker.com. For more information on Richard Mell, check out his profile at goodreads.com. The theme music for this podcast was written by John Doyle from the band I Decline. You can visit him at i-decline.com. Voiceover for this podcast was provided by me, Margaret O'Reilly. Well, that concludes our episode. We hope you've learned a lot. Again, thanks for listening to our show. And always, always remember, there is no deodorant in outer space.
Okay, recording, flatlining, making waves. Ready.
Okay, good. Wilk, you got wave files? Wilk. Get your head in the fucking game, bitch. Let's do this.
Well, let's get it going, Ryan. Let's do it.
Well, Wilk, are you ready, Wilk? Are you recording? What's going on? Okay. Can you get a new Audacity file open and hit record and let us confirm that you got wave files?
Sure.
Thanks. I appreciate it.
Okay, so I'm recording now. What's our length on this one here? We're going for girth.
Ideas. I'll meet with you, and that's how he got into that show.
Okay, that's pretty cool. So you went from book club, huh?
Centipede.
Sorry, I got a text.
Oh.
It'd be fun if we actually drugged Ryan and we had him try and guess what drug we gave him during the podcast in real time.
Remember this? You guys discussed this before, and I said that would end our friendship.
Yeah. Well,
We had a specific discussion. Yeah.
Because Ryan would lose control. Oh no, that'd be the worst thing in the world. He's not in complete control of what's happening right now. I'm going to tie you up and spank your ass and feed you acid live on a podcast. Let's make that happen.
And that actually happened in the series.
That's the kink update from Wilk.
No, I mean I'll tie you up with what do they used to tie those birds with? Like you find like a hen.
Birds.
Yeah, I'll use twine or erts or whatever it is.
I'll bird
twine your wrist to your ankles. I'll put an apple.
This is very creepily specific.
I'll put an apple in I'll put a candied apple in your mouth covered with caramel, so it'll stick in there a little bit easier, and I'll keep your nostrils clean. I'll then take a large wax candle.
What am I, Thanksgiving dinner?
I'll put the candle in your buttocks and light it. And then Rick and I will sit around and read books in the gentle light emanating from your ass. And then later on...
Oh, so the book club will be able to continue.
We'll take blotter acid and smear it across your back. We'll then invite a tattoo artist over with George, and we'll have you tell the tattoo artist exactly what you want tattooed on your neck, face, and back. And we'll film the whole thing as you consent to some kind of elaborate tattoo of your wildest, most bizarre, and unlimited fantasies. We'll then emerge 4 or 5 hours later covered in sweat as if you were a butterfly without wings, living a brand new life, embracing the world for the first time in its full splendor. That is my idea for a podcast.
Why do I feel like you're reading right now?
Well said.
What's that?
I feel like you're reading right now. We're gonna get you. We're gonna get you on intent when the prosecutor comes in.
No, I'm not reading. I thought you said you thought I was.
You must often think about this. Yeah.
No, I mean I've often thought of binding and torturing Ryan. I actually wrote a book
where Ryan was a character. Anyways.
Well, you know, hey Ryan, we got like 2 hours in the can here. This is these are good episodes. I wouldn't shave them down too much here. Not a lot of anger either. It was all. You know what? Why don't you ignore that instinct and see what happens? Because plenty of podcasts I listen to go way beyond that before they get into the content. Let's just roll with it. Don't edit it down. The bio is not even the most interesting part, but it's all there. People can listen to it. I would just not edit it too much. I know you're gonna do whatever the hell you want to do, but whatever. So I would just play it if you want to cut things out here. But like these are both pretty solid episodes, man. Because I'm in control of it, guys. I'm in charge of it. My name's Brian. I'm going to edit it. It's going to be what I want it to be. I like your opinion because I like to shit on things. And if you don't give me an opinion, I can't shit on it. And I like to shit on things, so give me your opinion so I can shit on it. That's what it's for me to shit on. Yeah, 4.5 stars. I didn't like it enough to watch it again, but I'm going to give it the second highest rating possible.